If someone were to choke on food at home, for example, or you might find someone collapsed in the street or someone hit by a car with major blood loss, would you know what to do? Hello, my name's Alex and I'm co-founder of Holos Healthcare Training Ltd, an industry body approved first aid training organisation I started with my wife Judy, a former police officer, almost 20 years ago, with the express aim of empowering people to help save lives. My clinical background: I'm a paramedic. I've been a paramedic now for almost 30 years, 18 of which was delivering frontline care with the London Ambulance Service. And before that, spent 7 years in the police force based in South East London. I'm also an osteopath, traditional acupuncturist, and martial arts instructor. And both my wife and I are supported by a hand-picked team of instructors, mainly drawn from the emergency services, people who have literally walked the talk. And we've all been to situations where we've turned up at scenes and no first aid has been administered, and if something had been done, the outcome would have been totally different. Following a first aid course I delivered quite recently, I received an email from Mr. and Mrs. Wren, who kindly gave me permission to share their story. Basically, March this year, 2022, they received a call from America where their healthy 20-year-old daughter was studying to be informed that she'd suffered a sudden cardiac arrest in the street while shopping with friends. That she's alive today is thanks to the presence of mind of one of her friends who flagged down a passing police officer who gave her effective CPR on the street until paramedics arrived with a defibrillator. Fortunately, she's made a full recovery and she's now back in the UK studying and looking forward to a full and active life ahead. But as you can see from the email here, the outcome could have been so much different had she not received prompt, effective first aid help. The officer saved it and explained that emergency first aid is vital and a regular part of the training of police and first responders in the city. This then inspired both Mr. and Mrs. Wren to undertake a first aid course. Should ever the need arise, they could be called upon to help someone and give someone else the gift which they received, the life of their loved one. They contacted us through recommendation and they both completed our emergency first aid at work course, not for the workplace but for their own personal knowledge. And as they go on to say in the email here, they can say with confidence that the training which they received, they found to be both rigorous, accessible and empowering, and was perfectly pitched for anyone, especially new to first aid. So which courses are suitable for me? Well, we deliver both on-site courses, both in the workplace, to community centres, in people's homes for personal use, and also bespoke courses depending on your requirements. And you range from the very, very basic life support course, basic introduction to first aid, right through to the level 3 first aid at work course and beyond. We also deliver open courses where you come to us, open to anyone. Currently at venues in London, Bristol, Malvern, Leamington Spa and Scarborough. And we've got further 2023 venues planned both in Coventry, Reading and further venues around the country. A good basic introduction to first aid is the level 2 emergency first aid at work course, and although this is geared for the workplace and depending on your workplace risk assessment it's valid for most workplaces, it's also a good overall introduction to first aid for those that don't require a first aid certification for work but just require further knowledge for their own personal development. And this is the course that Mr. and Mrs. Wren attended for their own knowledge, and for the open courses are a blended learning format. So what does the blended learning format incorporate? Well, it's the one-day emergency first aid at work course is split into two parts. The first part is the online segment, which is the half-day equivalent online, and basically includes video clips, presentations, and quizzes to help test your knowledge. And the course itself is split into between 5 and 15 minute sessions, so you can work at your own pace, and can fit it around other commitments, and you can go back and revise all the work that you've done beforehand. So this is spread over a long period of time, so it allows the drip feeding approach, so allow the knowledge to sort of seep in over time and a pace to suit yourself. And the online section includes a plan of action, what's on the primary survey, our Dr. ABC approach, an application that plan to deal with the unconscious breathing casualty, including the recovery position, the non-breathing casualty, including resuscitation and defibrillation, choking, both adults and children, bleeding, burns and wound control, and some common medical conditions, including things like diabetic emergencies, seizures, and strokes. This is followed by the half-day face-to-face session where you're able to ask questions of the instructor, anything that might have come up during the online session. And hopefully the instructor will be able to answer most of your questions. And from the clinical background of our instructors, we are able to answer most questions. However, recently I delivered a course to a group of ramblers in North London, and I got posed with a question which actually I was stumped with. One of the members asked me if they were in a field and someone collapsed in the field and there were cows in the field, how do you make the area safe? I must admit, I didn't have a clue. This happened to one of their colleagues, and one of their colleagues actually got attacked by a cow. Fortunately, I was helped by a couple of the participants of the course, both of which had farming backgrounds that got me out of trouble. But in most cases, we're able to answer most of the questions that might have cropped up on the online session. We then focus on the practical elements of the unconscious breathing patients. So we practice the recovery position. We practice CPR with a whole range of mannequins and different sizes. We'll practice the choking scenarios and actually bandaging wounds in a friendly, non-threatening and helpful learning environment. If you like this video, please click and subscribe, and please share the information with as many people as possible. The more people know about this, the better. If you want further information on courses that we run, dates and venues, please look at our Facebook page, Holos Healthcare Training Ltd, or look at our website, holoshealthcare.com. Alternatively, if you want further information, please email us at holoshealthcare@gmail.com, or follow me on my Instagram account, Yoda Braz. Alternatively, old-fashioned way, call us during office hours on 0800 007 5248. Holos Healthcare Training Ltd, empowering people to help save lives.